What is Ultimate Combat?
Reality TV, we've got it for you. The Ultimate Combat Experience starts now. All right, Mike, this one is going to be fun. It's a couple of lightweights, no holds barred, and our first fighter into the ring, Jamie Temple.
Jamie Temple's a jiu-jitsu expert, but I think he's got his hands full here tonight.
Yeah, he better do his dancing quick. You can hear the crowd in the background. Earlier, it was the Ute fans that were excited for a couple of former Utes, former and current Utes getting into the ring. Now I think it's BYU fans, Utes fans, Aggies fans.
Everybody loves Johnny. Johnny
jumping and hopping around. And
I'm not sure what that move is there. I think he's breakdancing here.
He's doing a little breakdance for us, and actually a little jump rope simulation. He looks like he is ready to go, but you know what? Having seen him fight before, I don't think Johnny's ever not been ready to fight.
Johnny always comes with his A game, and boy, he's got this place pumped up.
This is going to be a...
She's a assistant wrestling coach at Murray High School. Obviously, a lot of people came here to see him fight.
Boy, he is pumped up, and you can hear the crowd in the background, Johnny, Johnny, and he's recognizing that, and he is full of energy. Although if I'm a trainer, I'm going to tell him to save some of that for after the bell.
Johnny's got he's chock full of energy, that's for sure.
Boy, a lot of fun, and I'm not sure Jamie knows exactly what to make of this.
He's not really sure where he's at, it seems.
Lonnie Foster's going to help us get started. He'll check one more time in the blue. Jamie's ready, and so is Johnny. So let's get it on here and see what happens. Immediately, well,
surprise, caught him by surprise there. Johnny got taken down.
Johnny started to make a kick, and Jamie grabbed his leg and took him down, but it is Johnny Ritchie who is on top. Throwing some punches here, missing with a couple, but now he's making contact.
He's making contact with a lot of those. Jamie's going to feel those.
He's got him hit the legs around there and moved Johnny off of him, but that was a quick switch.
Looks like I like to see what Johnny was doing. He was listening to his corner, but now he's putting the punishment on this guy.
Boy, and one thing Jamie doesn't want to do is stand toe-to-toe and trade punches with Johnny Ritchie, who not only gets a big right hand, but he also throws a full mount, and whenever he can get a hand free, you can bet Johnny Ritchie is going to use it.
Yeah, he's raining the punches down on him.
Jamie, at this point, I think, just trying to figure out what happened. He got off to what looked like a good start, but, well, now maybe Jamie Temple punches, kicks. There's another big right hand, and a left, and a right.
And nothing coming back from Jamie. No, this thing's over.
Jamie's running from it, and there's a couple of kicks in there. Get a knee in for good measure.
He's taking a beating here. Lonnie's got to step in here pretty quick.
I would say just about anything and everything Johnny's throwing is landing somewhere. So you wonder sometimes if he ever gets into a situation where he's had to go or has to go to extended rounds, whether he's going to have enough gas to get through it.
That's going to be his only concern as we move on in the tournament. He comes up against somebody tough. He's going to have to be ready to withstand that kind of energy throughout 3 rounds.
We've got some of the corner help stepping out to make sure Jamie's okay. He's got some blood there on the face, and that's not a surprise either, but he looks like he's going to be all right.
Talking to Jamie before this fight, he's a neat kid. He's no stranger to pain.
He's tapping out. So, yeah, Lonnie's got to step in and stop this fight. That's the way he likes to fight, Johnny Ritchie, all out.
He actually seemed like he kind of liked it a little bit, so he looks like he's okay.
And Johnny Ritchie just going to take a couple of seconds here before we make this one official to soak in some of the ambiance and the atmosphere of the crowd. This has been a fun night, and they were all jacked up, ready for Johnny Ritchie to get out here. What did you call him? The little
ball of hate, boy. I tell you what, he is all that. A lot of fun watching him fight.
Yeah, give us one for the camera. There you go, big guy.
He's great television, isn't he?
Oh, that is. So Lonnie will get him out in the middle of the ring, and you saw it as it happened, but we'll make it official. Your winner in our main event tonight is, of course, Johnny Ritchie, recognizing his fans in the crowd, and he'll go on to fight again. It'll be fun to watch for him to come back again.
We look forward to seeing him fight in the future. He's a lot of fun, and he packs them in there, boy.
Right here at the Ultimate Combat Experience. Looking forward to this fight, and it's appropriate tonight because we have former University of Utah football coach Ron McBride in the crowd, so we thought it'd be fun to get a couple of football players up here. One current, one former. Marcus Jones will be fighting out of the red.
Marcus Jones is a current University of Utah. I think Casey left the team under adverse conditions. Football player. He'll be fighting Casey Jackson, who is a former University of Utah football player. A little bit of bad blood here. It should be an exciting matchup.
You look at both of these guys, they're big to begin with, but you know, if they've played college football, they've spent a lot of time in the weight room.
She's one of the fun people in the crowd to watch. The least enviable position right now would be Lonnie Foster having to step in front of these two people.
No kidding. And right away, Marcus comes out and throws a right hand that sent Casey staggering a little. And it's going to be fun to watch. I know Casey comes in with a lot of great family support. When I've seen him fight before, his family's always there, and sometimes his mom will watch that chokehold of our first match and is ready to lock one on himself.
Well, I don't know that Marcus really knows how to put one on correctly. He's in a great position to do so. I just don't know that he knows how to do it.
And boy, the aggressor, no doubt about it, is Marcus Jones, who climbs on top, and I think
so he can hang on down below, and it doesn't really look like he knows how to do that either.
You know, maybe he doesn't have that chokehold on, because you can see there. So he's trying his darndest. Casey, of course, trying to work those hands free so that he then can make his move. Looks like Marcus, though, might be a little bit high here.
He's a little high. He wants to get his hooks in, his feet in. Doug's doing a good job of fighting this off, and he's being very patient, both guys. Maybe a little too tentative. I'd like to see Marcus be a little more aggressive on top here.
Well, this will be interesting to see how long this takes for. With the left hand, he's throwing some punches occasionally. When Casey is able to get the fingers loose, he uses his leverage on top to throw a couple of punches.
Casey's a little bit high. He's going to want to try to scoot back a little bit, and obviously Casey's going to want to try to keep bumping him up high.
Well, no sooner you say that than Casey rolls over and starts to use his weight to his advantage with Marcus there on the bottom. Marcus, someone to gain another advantage, because it looks like it's kind of
maybe stalemated
at this point.
Right, it's stalemated just a little bit right now. Marcus is. Yeah, he's actually still in a good position if he really knew how to put this choke on right. I've seen it done a lot of times from there. But yeah, and Marcus is in a little bit of trouble here now.
Still has his legs wrapped up, but you can see Casey trying to get the hands loose, and my guess is as soon as he does that, Marcus is going to find himself in trouble, because Casey's on top.
Side mount, looking to probably submit with that the far arm there.
So a full mount position then would be on top with your legs on the outside of your opponent's
like
leg?
you're riding him like a pony.
Okay. You remember Casey rolls over, and now he's in what you call the full mount position.
No, Casey's in Marcus's guard, and Marcus is trying to climb up and look for an arm lock. And Casey passes his guard. Now Casey's in an excellent position. It's called
He's probably a little more comfortable standing up.
Yeah, Marcus definitely wants to fight on his feet. He came
from the first week. So now Casey Jackson has a good hold on Marcus Jones, who is trying to get to his feet, and as you mentioned,
well, he's putting on a chokehold, it looks like, and Marcus just tapped there. So.
Oh, he did? I missed it. Yeah. All right, so Casey Jackson.
And got a good shot in right off the bat, and he wants to get back to that position, I'm sure.
Boy, Casey just whips him into the corner buckle there. Now he himself is trying to put on a lock with that big right arm of his. As soon as that chokehold was applied, decided it was time for him to call this one quits.
Well, typically that chokehold there is ineffective with the arm, and I think Marcus, not being familiar with the position, he tapped a little early because it is uncomfortable, but he wasn't really in as much trouble as it might appear.
Hey, Casey's still got enough power in that right action. Is going to be your winner here. And again, this one didn't take as long as you might have expected, but Marcus Jones to pound the chest a few times for the crowd.
I'll tell you what, he's a strong kid. Obviously, so is his trainer, Griffin Reno, picks him up off the ground. Casey goes about 300 pounds.
Yeah, he might need a little therapy tomorrow. Not Casey, but the trainer, right, after doing that little lift.
Good sportsmanship, though. I like to see that.
Yeah, and they're smiling at each other. They, of course, both from the University of Utah, so they have that common bond as well. But Lonnie Foster gets him back into the center of the ring, and we're going to make this one official for you there. You saw it as it happened, but your winner out of the blue corner is Casey Jackson, showing off the guns right now to the crowd gathered ringside.
We have just got a bloodbath in here tonight. Everybody here at Combat Experience, the ultimate combat experience that takes you where you don't want to go. We all want to say, good night, baby!
On behalf of all of us with the ultimate combat experience, we'll see you back here next week. Please be careful on your way home, and if you feel like you can have one.
Welcome to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience, where we continue our search for Utah's toughest fighters. AJ, we've got an incredible show tonight. We've got everything from the Tasmanian Devil, Johnnie Ritchie, to the great big Goliath, 295-pound Casey Jackson, and just about everything in between.
And let's not forget that in tonight's show, the crowd is electrified. It is amazing.
It is. It's off the hook in there tonight. You want to stick around for this. First up, we got Tommy McCormack. He's a submission fighter against Travis White, a boxer. Should be an interesting matchup. Welcome back. We're going to get started with our first no-holds-barred fight of the night.
And don't blink, because you'll miss this one.
We've got a great crowd on hand, and we're ready for another edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. We'll get things started tonight with a no-holds-barred match. Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Hughes. By my side, as always, is Mike Stidham. And Mike, our first opponent into the ring is Tommy McCormack.
Tommy McCormack's out of Rich Layton's Ogden Fighting Alliance. He's a submission fighter with powerlifting background. He benches over 400 pounds, they say.
He looks like a tough guy. His opponent into the blue corner now is Travis White.
Travis White is a boxer. He got into our show because one of our fighters actually went into a place where he works. He saw his black eye and asked where he could get one of those.
We'll see if he can get one tonight then. They come out, throwing a couple of punches. Travis does show his boxing technique, but immediately McCormack takes him down to the mat.
And he's got his back there. It's not a position that Travis wants to be in.
A couple of punches to the back of the head there, and immediately McCormack puts on a chokehold and takes him down to the mat.
This fight's over.
That's it.
Yeah, they say Tommy McCormack's like vice grips, and once he gets a hold of you, boy, it's almost over.
Well, you mentioned he could press 400 pounds, and when a guy like that puts a lock on your neck, it's time to get out while you can still breathe. And Travis White taps out, so quickly into that first round. Your winner, again fighting out of the red corner, is Tommy McCormack. Let's go back up into the ring here with Alex Gerke. Alex?
Hey, I'll tell you what, Tommy, man, that was a quick win. It looked like the blue made a fatal mistake by not keeping that chin tucked.
Dude, the guy's awesome, so, you know, man, it's all good, so.
Right on, bro.
Right, bro.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, Tommy, great job, man.
All right, brother.
Great job, bro. All right, we've got Matt from the blue corner. Matt, it looked like you came out there kind of humping a little bit, but then all of a sudden you made that fatal mistake of keeping that chin up, bro.
He got me. He got me. He's a good fighter. He trains regularly. You know, I'm a little bit out of shape, but I'm going to keep training. I'll be back.
AJ, what you got, little lady?
Is this your first time fighting in the ring?
It is. Well, NHB. NHB it is.
What did you fight before?
Boxing.
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 Boxing on NHB. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good, you know, but I got to go to work Monday, so I can't get hurt. So, you know, that's how it goes. I do the smart thing, tap out. He got the hold on. I couldn't get out. There was no way. He's strong, you know.
Are you going to keep on going?
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to train. I'm going to keep coming back.
All right, man, we just want to thank you here tonight and wish you all the best and hope to see you again next year, bro.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
All right, Alex and AJ, thank you very much. We're going to see it one more time. And Travis, I guess he was willing to go to work with the black eye. He just didn't want other injuries. So.
It's interesting. You got the classic battle, the stand-up fighter against the grappler. And, you know, these guys are tough when they're stand-up, but they got to learn to stay away and not let themselves get taken down.
I told you I was going to go fast.
Stick around. We got two Goliaths that come off the gridiron and into the ring.
Welcome back. And Mike, the crowd goes crazy over this fight.
And not coincidentally, most people in the crowd are wearing red.
All right, Mike.
That was an exciting fight.
It sure was. We're going to shift gears now. We've got kickboxing coming up next with a traditional boxer versus a Muay Thai kickboxer. Stick around. The last time we saw one of these fighters, his opponent almost had to be carried out of the ring.
So get set for Dan Green and Joey Gutierrez.
Well, Mike, any of our viewers that saw round number one of our Ultimate Combat Experience probably will recognize this fighter into the blue corner, Daniel Green.
Yeah, boy, who could forget that devastating knockout we saw in round one from Dan Green. He's a Muay Thai kickboxer, and a pretty good one at that.
Coming into the red corner, his opponent tonight is Joey Gutierrez, more of a boxer, you say?
Joey's an excellent boxer, and he's not going to try to kickbox with Dan. He makes no qualms. He's not a kickboxer, doesn't want to try to throw kicks. He's going to straight up box this guy.
Well, you do want to go with your strengths if you're going to put your life on the line and step into the ring in the Ultimate Combat Experience, and that's exactly what both of these guys are doing as we get underway. And there's a kick from Daniel and a punch from Joey, and just as we as predicted, fighting for their strengths.
Yeah, Dan's got excellent leg kicks. He's going to want to try to chop down Joey and take his legs away. And Joey's going to do just the opposite. He's going to come up top and try to take Dan up top.
Boy, and we've seen Daniel fight before. Maybe the best way to keep him from really causing much damage to you is to keep him busy on defense, and that's immediately what Joey looks to be doing.
Yeah, Joey's got a great strategy. We'll see if he can stick with it here.
But just as soon as we say that, Daniel Green gets a good left-handed punch in there that sends Joey back a few steps.
We got an equipment problem here of some sort.
Yeah, I think we've got some headgear that has come loose, and so they're going to tighten that up over in Gutierrez's corner, and we'll be ready to immediately get right back to the fighting. Neither one of these fighters look to be hurt at all from that first flurry of punches and kicks, and we're right back to the action here.
You know, I think spacing is going to be a big thing for Joey. If he stays at that distance where Dan can land those powerful kicks, he's going to be in trouble. He either wants to be in tight or far away.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's tricky for him because he has to obviously be within his reach range, but you do want to keep yourself out of the way of those kicks.
And, you know, Dan's a pretty good boxer himself, so getting in tight is not really the best strategy sometimes either.
They're both trading punches, but so far Daniel Green has predicted the one throwing the kicks, and he's really working on the legs of Gutierrez, and then occasionally will take one up a little bit higher. But there's another kick to the leg and comes right back with a left to the midsection.
Kind of interesting. I think Dan's somewhat falling into Gutierrez's strategy here. He's trading punches with him where we've seen Dan with his powerful kicks, and I think he should be throwing more of those.
Well, our cameraman's going to get in the middle of the action here if he's not careful as they come right back up off the ropes. And Daniel, you know, you love this cockiness about the guy. He takes a couple of punches and then steps back and shakes his head to let Joey know no damage done here.
When you first see him, you kind of might interpret as cockiness. Dan's one of the most humble guys you'll meet, but he does play it up in the ring without a doubt.
A couple of good punches there again from Gutierrez, and Daniel Green looking for opportunities. The thing I like about Dan is he's patient enough to take some blows. He has enough confidence in his conditioning to take the blows and wait for his opportunities to throw punches.
He doesn't waste a whole lot of energy. He's very accurate with kicks and punches.
That's the end of round number one. It's going to be interesting. You'll see some of the action from the first one, and Daniel gets in a good right hook there of his own and comes back with a left. But clearly, Gutierrez throwing a lot more punches. The conditioning is going to be a factor, I think, coming out on this one.
I think Gutierrez's experience is starting to show a little bit here, and Dan might be a little bit caught off guard by how good a boxer he actually is.
Here we go with round number two, and immediately Dan Green tries to take the legs out from underneath Gutierrez.
Great technique, great strategy. That's what I would recommend for Dan, because the boxer really isn't used to taking those type of leg kicks.
Yeah, and once your legs are gone, boy, you don't have much left.
Well, you can't get any power in your punches, and yeah, it takes everything out of you.
Whoa! Daniel tries a big left
hook kick, we call it. A
hook kick. Tries a big left hook kick and follows it, but neither one really made contact. So now both fighters, you talk about that spacing, are kind of keeping their distance.
Yeah, I see Joey's staying away a little bit. Maybe that kick might have scared him just a little bit, and he might be running out of gas a little bit as well. It doesn't look like his conditioning is as good as we'd like to see it.
Yeah, he better keep his guard up, or Daniel Green will get a punch in there. You can count on that, and boy, he's lucky that kick missed too.
I can see Gutierrez's chin dragging a little bit there. He's carrying his hands a little bit low. It looks to me like he's a little bit out of shape.
You can see also, and we made this point the first time we saw Daniel fight here on the Ultimate Combat Experience, that he's one of those fighters that does decide and opt to wear that pad on his shin, but more of a defensive thing, he says.
That's what he says. He just uses it more for blocking than anything, and you can see that he uses his right legs for most of his power kicks anyway.
Are you surprised at all that Daniel Green isn't using more of the kicks at this point?
Yeah, I kind of thought it was a bit of a strategic thing that he probably should have been doing, and perhaps maybe he's got an injury or he's out of shape as well, that he's not using it a little bit more.
Well, both of these fighters now taking some good air, and boy, I'll tell you right there, Gutierrez was lucky he had his arm up, because that kick was going right to the side of his head.
He wisely just stepped in when that kick came up, and that avoided the contact from that kick.
So again, Gutierrez for a second there looks over at the referee. Oh boy!
That was a nice kick. That was a nice kick.
That's a nice one, and that one did get all the way through to the side of the head. But Joey comes back fighting and gets Daniel Green right back up against the ropes. But you can see he occasionally is looking over, and he's lucky the end of this second round comes to an end.
Yeah, Dan's starting to get his spacing where he can land that kick, and it looks like he's going to land it a little bit more frequently as we go on here.
Boy, this crowd is loving the action, and you have to know that with that kind of thing going on, well, let's listen in on the corner.
Put it out there on the line. 2 more minutes.
Keith Livingston there trying to get his fighter going.
telling him 2 more minutes. Give it all you got for 2 more minutes as we head into the 3rd round. Big kick to the midsection of Gutierrez. And some punches that follow it. And again, you've said Daniel uses those kicks to set up his punches right and left.
That was a great exchange. Dan, it is setting up the head by the good kicks. Right there, a push. That's illegal in kickboxing here.
And getting a warning for doing just that, pushing the opponent up against the ropes.
Getting a little bit sloppy, and I think, fatigue's starting to play a factor here.
Well, Gutierrez has definitely dropped his hands, and he's lucky that he's got the distance he does, and you see him putting a little more distance there. I think he knows that he just doesn't have much left to keep the guard up against Daniel Green at this point, and one of the punches just like that would end this one.
It's nice to see 2 good technicians like this, though. These guys are a little bit sloppy from fatigue, but you can see they both got really good technique.
And Daniel, 2 times in a row, continues to try and take the legs out from underneath Joey, and just about accomplished it there.
Boy, he's really landing those leg kicks there, and you can see the effect they're having on Joey. He's having a hard time moving around. Doesn't have quite the footwork he should have.
Boy, and about the time Joey drops those hands, whoa, he almost took him down to the mat with that kick, but about the time Joey drops his hands to block a kick, he has to immediately bring his hands back up because Daniel's going to take advantage of that and get a punch in there.
He does. He kicks low and comes over the top of that one, too, and he's very accurate with it.
Now they're both just looking at each other and sizing each other up. Boy, I'm telling you, having watched Daniel fight before, I'm surprised this late into this fight that he's landing those punches on the chin and Joey continues to stand.
I think Dan's really looking for that big kick to the head. He's throwing those low kicks and he's punching to the head, trying to set up that big devastating knockout that we saw in round one of the tournament.
Both of the fighters meet there with their legs, but no real impact on either side. And there's another kick from Daniel Green, but not a whole lot of action here as we get closer to the end, and Daniel continuing to try and take the legs out, but that's going to do it. Both of these fighters remain standing after a hard-fought contest, and we're going to have to send this one to the judges' decision. So let's see how this one comes out. One of the judges I know actually scored this one a tie. I don't know that I would have called it that close, but let's see what they say. The winner of this kickboxing match going the distance, and there it is from the blue corner. It was a close match on the judges' scorecard, but Daniel Green pulls it out. Let's head up into the ring.
All right, Daniel, I'll tell you what, man. I get to see you again. I'll tell you what, hey, another great job by you, bro.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He was a good puncher. He's a very good puncher.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Those on the chin. Felt good.
Yeah, did he have a little bit of power behind him?
Yeah, just like my mom. My mom's a tough woman, though. You know?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Ain't nothing like moms, is there?
Damn right.
All right, hey, let me send you over to AJ. AJ, what you got, little lady?
Hey, are you ready for the finals? That's the next step.
I'm ready for the finals.
You think you're going to take it?
I'm going to give it my best shot.
Your best shot?
Oh, yeah. So, AJ, I got a question.
Yes.
You got a sister?
7 of them.
Hey, our guys going ahead trying to make it happen. I'll tell you, you can't beat that. There's nothing like that here in the Ultimate Combat Experience. And I'm going to tell you what, bro, great job, and I told you I was going to see you in the finals, man. I'll see you there, bro. Great job. Great job, my brother. Way to work. All right, we got Joey. Hey, Joey, I'm going to tell you what, you're an absolute warrior, bro, because coming out, I'll tell you what, over here in the blue, I thought he had a hell of an advantage just by the shape he was in. And I'll tell you what, you penetrated Fort Knox with some serious blows, and he had to go ahead and commit on that one.
I'm just out of shape, man. I only have 1 week of training.
1 week?
Yeah, 1 week. But next time I'll be ready.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, man. I take my hat off to you because you're a damn warrior, bro. We're going to send it on over to AJ. AJ, what you got, little lady?
Hey, I just want to say I give you props for hanging in there as tired as you were.
Thanks.
Well, I'm going to tell you what a great job by another fighter here in the Ultimate Combat Experience. We want to thank him, his effort, and all the things he's done tonight.
Thanks.
All right, bro, yo-yo.
So we'll see some of the action again. Gutierrez can barely stand there and complete an interview, and yet he stood for 3 rounds with Daniel Green and took a lot of abuse.
We were a little surprised. That one went the distance.
But the next one won't.
So stick around.
Two fighters are in great shape, but one of them's a real knockout.
Watch this, you'll see what she means.
We are ready to get back into the no-holds-barred action tonight of the Ultimate Combat Experience, and first up in the red corner is Chris Rossiter.
Chris Rossiter's got an extensive submission fighting background. Used to train at Pedro Sauer's. Now he's up with Griffin Reno up at the Walt Bayless system. One of the favorites in this stacked division here.
Both of these guys look like they are well fit. Brandon Molindez will be his opponent and gets a little cheer from the crowd as he steps into the blue corner.
Brandon's an independent fighter, but it looks like he's got Tim Wilde and Donnie Raines, two very good fighters themselves, working his corner there.
3 3-minute rounds scheduled as always for No Holds Barred. Lonnie Foster is our referee, and we are underway. Oh, there's a big right hand from Melendez, but doesn't look like it hurt Chris Rossiter much.
Got some wild technique there.
Man, both of these guys are just wailing away on each other.
I'll tell you what, one of those lands.
Rossiter, oh my goodness, look at that.
That was probably the best knockout we've seen. He's out, he's done.
Lonnie cannot help him get up off of the mat. Chris Rossiter is out like a light.
Not quite sure where he's at this point, I'm sure.
My goodness, and Lonnie with a bit of a grin on his face, talking to Chris, letting him know, no, the fight's over, buddy. You can go sit down.
Chris still wants to fight. I don't think he remembers actually taking that shot. I've been there actually before. It's an interesting feeling.
You were just about to say if one of those lands. Well, let's listen into the doctor ringside.
Walt, Bayless Jiu Jitsu.
Okay, you okay?
That looks like he's coming around.
I don't know if you can hear that, but our doctor was asking him, who's the president of the United States? He said George Bush. Do you know who you fight for? Now, let's listen.
Get me a cold bottle of water. Put it on the back of his neck.
Asking for a little water.
Is that it?
I'll tell you, let me tell you.
How did you get that? Chris Rossiter asking our fight doctor, is that it? Evidently it is, and there's our winner, Brandon Molindez. Congratulations to Brandon.
Hey,
what
Brandon,
a punch.
I'm going to tell you what, that was an outstanding shot, my man. I haven't seen something like that since I had my bro, Tank Abbott, go ahead and lay some folks out. How'd you go ahead and land that shot here tonight, baby?
Well, stand-up's always been my game, and I'm pretty sturdy with it. Pretty solid, and just got to focus and do what you got to do.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, bro. You made that brother go to sleep tonight. Anything else? Come on now, give me something, bro.
Give you something? I don't know, man. I'm not much of a talker, so I'll just keep it nice and simple.
We got another great, humble fighter here who did an outstanding job. 19.7 seconds on the knockout. Brandon, hell of a job, bro.
Right on.
Right on, my man. Excellent job. Way to go to work. All right, we've got Chris. Chris, how you feeling, bro?
Feeling pretty good. Just got caught with a right hand, you know. Don't know what happened. That's the way it goes, though. I'll live to fight another day, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's kind of the attitude that you got to have. And you came out swinging. I'm going to tell you what, you were slinging some dogs, both of you guys. I thought the fight was going to go on for a little bit longer. He just caught you with that lucky shot, bro.
Caught me with that right hand.
Well, I'll tell you what, AJ, what you got, little lady?
Yeah, I just have a question. It looked like there for a second you didn't know you got knocked out. Was that the case?
I guess so. I don't know. I took that right hand, and I thought I was still going, but oh well. That's how it goes, you know?
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, just like Chris says, you always come back to fight another day because it takes a true warrior to step in this ring right here, baby. Nothing like it.
Believe me.
Yo, thank you.
Alex and AJ, thank you. And you hear Chris say, I took that right hand. I thought I was still going. He was going right out to the next county.
He was going. I want to take this opportunity to thank Scott Haskell, our ringside medic.
It was nice to see that Chris was okay.
That was a heck of a punch. Stick around. We got the big boys coming up next in the No Holds Barred division. Next up, Jeremy Peterson and Dave Seljasted in a heavyweight no-holds-barred match.
And this fight's a good lesson why cardio is so important.
Check it out.
Boy, this crowd tonight, Mike, is really having a good time, and they should be. We've had some fantastic no-holds-barred matches, and this one promises to be just as exciting. Our first fighter coming into the ring from the red corner is Jeremy Peterson.
Similar background as our last fighter. Jeremy was with Pedro Sauer and is now with the Walt Bayless system. He's a submission fighter.
The fighter you see there on camera from the blue corner, his opponent, Dave Seljasted.
Dave's got a little bit of a mixed martial arts background, and I think he's currently doing Taekwondo.
Looks like a tough guy, and Lonnie Foster stays in the ring to referee this one. These fighters, boy, look at them. They got the eye of the tiger. They're ready to get after it. 3 3-minute rounds, and we are underway with round number 1. And Peterson trying to get a hold, trying to get Dave down on the ground here, but unsuccessfully.
You can see Dave's got some wrestling background as well. He's got pretty good hip mastery, and he's trying to work a choke there, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like, and that is the hold of the night. We've seen 2 fights pretty much end from a hold just like that. They're kind of tied up in the ropes right now, but until one of these fighters actually gains an advantage, and it looks like that's what happened, Lonnie will now pull him back out into the ring and get us right back into the action.
Yeah, Jeremy doing a good job of defending the choke and getting out of there. Now it looks like Dave's trying to shoot in underneath, which I wouldn't recommend. He's giving up some weight here.
Isn't it interesting, though, in some of our no-holds-barred matches earlier, we've seen opponents stand there toe-to-toe and just duke it out, and neither one of these guys are throwing punches.
These guys seem to want to wrestle more than strike, so it should be interesting.
And there's a takedown of sorts from Jeremy Peterson, but they're both back up on their feet.
Great throw by Seljasted.
No kidding. Gets him twisted all up and outside the ring. So
looks like Lonnie stopped it. He wasn't comfortable with how far out of the ring they went.
We are right back up in the center of the ring, and we'll see who can gain an advantage one way or the other on this one, as it looks like Jeremy comes right back at him in the corner.
He's throwing some punches there. They're not really super effective, though. You can see Jeremy kind of lacks a little bit of punching experience.
Still trying to throw some knees, too, that don't seem to be having much effect at all. And, well, Dave's happy to give one back. Seljasted trying to land one there on Jeremy. Neither one of them using their hands or the knees very effectively, and that one completely misses for Jeremy Peterson.
You can see neither one of them really are familiar with how to throw these knees with a whole lot of power behind them. I think their stand-up experience is a little bit lacking from both guys.
Just holding on at this point and dancing their way all the way across the ring, back up against the ropes on the other side, and Jeremy tries to throw a punch, but to no avail there.
Both guys really good with their wrestling, though. I see some really good things they're doing with their hips to prevent takedowns. Just got to work on the stand-up a little bit.
Yeah, you talk from time to time about the hip mastery of these guys and how they can fend off an opponent who really looks to have an advantage of them, but for all of their balance and training, they maintain their foot.
It's one of those things that you really can't coach. I mean, guys either know where their hips are, they're not, or they don't, and everything stems from your hips, your power for your punches, your kicks, and your takedowns as well.
Crowd's getting a little antsy at this point, waiting for one of these guys to show some action, and Jeremy tries to do what I used to do wrestling with my little brother, get his legs wrapped up and just swing him over my hip, but he didn't even get that done.
You know, you can see the fatigue starting to become a factor here as well, and both guys are wearing down just a little bit.
So it's curious at this point who has an advantage, or if it is one of those stalemates we were talking about earlier. Both of them, I think, trying to decide which way to go, and kind of undecided at this point.
You can see Seljasted's a pretty strong guy, but Jeremy seems to have a bit of a weight advantage, and when you're really tired like this, that'll really come into play.
The crowd thinks they love it. I'll tell you what, I was not happy at all with the action that we just saw in here right now. These guys got to start working. These guys got to come with some better shape, some better cardiovascular, because it's a travesty when you step in this ring, you got to be ready to fight. These guys got to make some things happen.
Always the coach, Alex, there. I love it.
You get the sense he wants to get in the ring and show this crowd what he can do, don't you?
Well, I don't think either one of these guys want Alex getting in the ring with him.
No, I don't think so either, but he's right. The crowd getting a little antsy, and you can see behind our ring girl there over in the blue corner, Dave Seljasted with his arms up above his head trying to get some wind, and we're ready to go with round number 2. Seljasted comes out with that big twisting turn of a kick, but doesn't even come close to landing Jeremy Peterson.
You've got to set those things up with a jab or something else. You're never going to land that from that far away.
Finally, we're down on the mat, and Jeremy Peterson has him in a full mount position here.
Yeah, Jeremy, with his weight advantage, this is going to be tough for Dave to get out of.
Seljasted, though, has his, well, momentarily had his arms wrapped up. I was about to say Jeremy can't do much with it because his arms were actually under there, and now he's got his hands free, but throws 1 or 2 punches, but doesn't really have much of an effect, it doesn't look like.
I'd like to see him a lot more busy here. You could finish a guy, especially with the fatigue factor. If he was more busy to the head, this fight would be over.
Boy, and he's punching the rib cage, and if he put a little more force behind that, Seljasted might be likely to tap out, but he doesn't even look like he's got that much force behind the punch at this point.
Well, Jeremy kind of punches like a girl there.
Yeah, just be lucky you're sitting where you are and not in there at the moment.
Jeremy's a friend of mine. He'll like that comment.
All right. Yeah, it almost looks like a loving little hug at this point on both fighters' parts.
I'm going to start some music up here.
Yeah, maybe we ought to.
Not a whole lot of action, not much to comment on it. Neither one of these guys are doing a whole lot to force the action either.
Well, you can see there for a moment Seljasted throws a punch, but Jeremy immediately grabs the wrist and tries to tie up his hand. I don't know what he hopes to gain from that. Maybe just to open up the rib cage a little bit.
Well, no, there's a shoulder lock he was looking to get there, but Seljasted's pretty strong. It's going to be tough to put his arms being so short to put that hold on.
Jeremy threw a couple of punches, and the crowd liked that, but it didn't last long. He got a right and a left in there, and then right back into the into the hold.
You can see Jeremy looking for that shoulder lock. If he could get that arm isolated, it would be a finish from there. But again, with the short arms of Seljasted and the power, it's going to be tough to get.
And Seljasted also trying to lock his hands. I don't know what he hopes to gain there because he's not preventing Jeremy from throwing any punches or anything at this point.
The only thing I can see that he's trying to do is keep him close. That way Jeremy can't put a whole lot behind these punches. But, you know, you're not winning any points with the judges and certainly not with the crowd at this point by that type of strategy.
Boy, a couple of more punches like that to the rib cage, though, and Seljasted, if not during this match, then tonight, tomorrow, the day after that, and maybe the week after that's going to be feeling it with some bruised ribs, I would think.
You can see that shoulder lock was almost on there, and then Seljasted able to reverse him.
Yep, Seljasted rolls him over, and this is not the full mount position again because, as you put it earlier, Mike, Seljasted now is within Jeremy Peterson's guard.
Right, he's not in the complete position of advantage here, although he's in better position than he was on the bottom.
Both fighters have their hands free, but not doing much with it. And again, the crowd is encouraging them to fight. Give us a little bit more action than this. I don't know if they're both just out of gas or if they're really looking for the next opportunity for a hold.
Looks like both these guys are just watching the clock, waiting for it to tick away. They're both fatigued, setting in, and not a whole lot on either one of these punches from either guy.
You can see the punches from Jeremy. There's the bell, the end of the second round, and they'll kind of crawl back into their corners and see if they can gain enough inspiration, I guess, from their corners to come back out and fight one more round for us here. Scheduled for 3, of course, at 3 minutes.
I don't see these guys picking it up too much from here. You can see both tanks are on empty, and I hope we can get something going third round.
There's the reversal we showed you a little bit earlier with Seljasted finally gaining some advantage over Jeremy Peterson, at least getting there on top. But from there on, there wasn't a whole lot of action till the end of that second round, and we're getting ready in fine fashion, I might add, for our third round coming up here.
Yeah, definitely fine fashion.
3 minutes as the voice of Ultimate Combat calls it till the end of round 3, and we'll see who decides on who they're going to win in this battle of warriors here tonight, baby. Yeah!
You gotta love Alex Gurkey.
They need some of that energy in the corner. What's he doing out there with the microphone?
Yeah, we need to get him working corners tonight.
All right, here we go. These fighters both know now they've got 3 minutes to impress. I don't know what that was from Jeremy. He started to, it looked like bring his leg up, but he didn't get much height on it at all, and we're right back on the mat.
And then kind of a half-hearted shot from Seljasted, and then finds himself underneath again with a guy who's got a weight advantage. Probably not the best thing to do.
This is a prime opportunity, though, is it not, for Jeremy to put on that chokehold we've seen so many times tonight?
Jeremy isn't even looking for the chokehold. He's looking to just kind of hang out, and again, not a whole lot of action.
Yeah, pulls one of those hands out to take another punch at the rib cage of Seljasted, but not having much of an effect at all. And you're right, both of these guys just look like they are hanging on for some advantage, and I don't know, if you're not willing to create it, it's not going to come your way.
Well, you know, in their defense, that Dave is an extremely powerful guy, and to put some of these holds on that you could put on other opponents might not be as easy to do with this guy because he's so compact and so strong. But there's not a whole lot going on underneath either.
See some of the fans sitting there ringside watching intently, but everybody wanting to see just a little bit more action out of these guys. And there's such high anticipation when you see two big guys like this get into the ring. It's almost like going to a race car event and waiting for that big crash around one of the big turns, you know?
Unfortunately, I expected more out of both of these guys because, you know, again, they both come from pretty good backgrounds. Jeremy's got a good submission background, and Dave has got a wrestling, obviously, and a taekwondo background. Dave would probably do better on his feet.
I'm a little surprised here. Jeremy made the move to get around behind Seljasted, and Seljasted just stayed rolled up, kind of like in a turtle position to protect the head. I don't know if he's injured or whatever, but now Jeremy taking advantage and throwing some punches to the back of the head. That's dangerous.
Yeah, he's kind of pawing. Unfortunately for Dave, he doesn't hit too hard. Again, punching like a girl there a little bit.
Coming with from the right side.
No offense to the ladies, of course.
Hey, I saw some ladies fight last week. I don't think they'd want to be you wouldn't want them hearing that comment, I guarantee you.
Definitely.
But Seljasted at least taking some blows to the back of the head. We don't know with what kind of force now from Jeremy Peterson, but he's happy to just stay down there, kind of rolled up like
Jeremy,
an armadillo or something at this point.
Jeremy not doing anything to finish this guy. Well, he got up and threw a knee. It's actually illegal to stand up and strike like that, and Lonnie, I'm sure, is telling him verbally to watch that.
Yeah, we've mentioned that before, that if you're a standing fighter, you cannot strike a down fighter.
That's one of the things that makes these fights legal in the state of Utah.
Boy, Seljasted comes back, annoyed now by those punches to the rib cage, comes back with an elbow that almost made contact with Jeremy's head.
There was a glimmer of life there from underneath, wasn't there?
There was for a second anyway.
At least we know he's still breathing down there.
Yeah. Well, and now he looks like maybe he's going to try and get out of this hold, but boy, he's not fighting very hard to get out of it.
No, but he's not really being punished by Jeremy either. And so, thank God for the finish of that fight.
I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm exhausted.
It really made us work that one there.
Yeah, no kidding. So they both go back into their corners, and now the folks that are in support there in the corner of Jeremy Peterson seem to think that their fighter came out on top. He certainly was in control most of the time, but let's see how it turns out. It is Jeremy Peterson who will be your winner after, I was going to say 3 hard-fought 3-minute rounds, but
the fight's so boring that I believe moss was growing on their backs there, and not a whole lot of action.
All right, we're here with
Let's
Jeremy,
go up into the ring.
Fighter who worked out of the red corner, went ahead and got a victory tonight in the no-holds-barred match. Jeremy, you seem to stay quite busy in there. That seemed to me to be the turning point of the match.
All right, he was a good competitor. Did good, kept me working, kept me off guard. He was a good fighter.
I'm going to tell you what, if you continue to stay busy and just work a little more cardiovascular so that way you can work a little faster.
Come on, I have a respiratory infection.
Oh, right now you do? Hey, I'm going to tell you what, I take my hat off to you for coming in here and battling it up tonight.
Well, thank you.
Hey, AJ, what you got?
Hey, I'm just admiring the big muscles.
Oh, hey, AJ's liking a little of that now. Anything else, little lady?
Nope, just congratulations, baby.
Thank you.
Hey, well, what a great job Jeremy did tonight working. Did a great job of going ahead and staying busy. We'll come back with the next fighter. Hey, Jeremy, great job.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Nicely done, bro. Hey, I'll tell you what, man, that was a long match, bro. And it looked to me like the guy who went ahead and stayed the most busiest and guy who had kind of position was the guy who kind of won that on the scorecards.
Yep. He's tough, he's long, and it's hard to deal with.
Is there anything you could have done a little better to make that thing happen?
Cardio. I had a week to prepare. Just run. Oh man, just cardio.
What kind of background you got? Wrestling?
Wrestler.
That's what I thought.
Learned submissions, but I didn't get a chance to use them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think if you get some...
boy.
Yeah, well, hey, look, if you get some cardio now, bro, I think you go ahead and you'll be able to kind of use some of them submission moves, use some of the knowledge that you have in your mind, and I'll tell you what, you got a great attitude, man. You come out, you work, you stay busy, you try to make things happen.
Thanks.
Hey, AJ, what you got, little lady?
Hey, I just want to say congratulations for getting this far.
Appreciate it.
Hey, well, I'm going to tell you what, another warrior who's come into the ring here at the Ultimate Combat Experience, and I take my hat off to anybody who can step in here because it takes a unique individual to make things happen.
Well, I agree, Alex. We had a little good-natured teasing of these guys. I appreciate both these guys fighting, and good sportsmanship on both parts. So I appreciate both these guys.
Thanks to both of our fighters.
At last. But I tell you what, the energy's not going to be a problem in this next one. Stay with us. This is the one the crowd came to see. Murray's bad boy, the Tasmanian devil, the little ball of hate, Johnnie Ritchie.
It's lightweight, no holds barred.
They sure love that little ball of hate, don't they, AJ?
They do. And next time we have Dan Green's 2 younger brothers.
I bet dinner time was a lot of fun at their house. Also, we've got the 295-pound Goliath, Casey Jackson, as he returns to the ring. See you next time at the Ultimate Combat Experience.